All right. Ooh, it's kind of loud, huh?
Yeah, you're
Coming in hot.
No, it's just you.
All right, welcome to the Dudes Like Us podcast. It's the first half of Tuesday. It's April 14th. It is it's another fantastic episode. We've got all of our best friends here sitting around the Dudes Like Us table. Chuck is our producer, hanging on to every thread that we're discussing and hopefully putting it up on the screen.
Yeah. Man of the minute.
Well, I feel like I'm about to sneeze right now. It's about the allergy season right now.
Yeah. Allergies, mine are kicked into gear this week.
Yeah.
Bad.
I don't like taking that medicine, though. It's a little bit, makes me kind of...
Groggy?
Yeah, just a big old fog coming on. I get a little anxiety stuff. Start to sweat in weird areas.
Oh, that doesn't impact
That
me
might
quite
be
like
something
that.
unrelated to
I think that's something else.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Or not.
That's your male menopause. You're going through.
All right, well, we have a couple special guests with us tonight to talk about the mayoral candidate coming up here in Frisco 2026. We're excited to have him on here. Dudes Like Us, I'm Sean.
I'm Paul.
I'm Jeff.
Rod.
Ivan Sifton.
And we're here to chat about Rod and the campaign, and welcome.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast. We appreciate having you guys.
Great to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, we're super excited to have you on. Of the four candidates, I don't want to be biased anyway, but I do respect your campaign. I'm wishing you nothing but the best, and we're hoping to display or talk about some of the reasons why. And we have some questions, but I don't know where I put my paper.
You can have mine.
You handed them.
Yeah, we got 4 copies.
I don't think Rod needs his
Yeah, I think
his
you know your
profile.
story, don't you?
Yeah,
Ask
I
me.
do.
You should know your story, Rod.
Ask away.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what?
right.
Actually, so first of all, you used to be in the construction world, right?
Yes,
Yeah, I
sir.
ran a very successful construction company, and what was it called?
The Rodman companies.
Rodman. So I remember seeing that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I remember because we've all been up here for a long time, right? So I moved up here. I think Paul was 97, I was 98, and you were, 2000?
Ish.
Ish. So we've been here a long time, and I remember seeing your trucks, your equipment everywhere in Frisco at the time.
Yeah.
'Cause there were about 20,000 folks that lived here when we moved in, and it's you know what it is today. I don't know who told me this. It was a rumor, or at least told to me, that Rodman was owned by Dennis Rodman. I don't know.
I 100% thought that until 2 seconds ago.
I thought that was he was part owner at one point.
He was.
Oh, he was.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So it was not a rumor then.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I've told the story 10,000 times, but if you want to hear it, we can tell it again right quick.
Yeah.
How Rodman got started. And Dennis Rodman started as a 52% owner.
Okay.
Barry and I were 48, Barry Rich, and I were 48%. And, when we were sitting in Matt Rysick's office in Detroit, he wanted us to own 10 and Dennis 90. And we said, no, we'll go back to farming. But we ended up, we talked outside and said, hey, 48% of something is better than 100% of nothing. So we
Right.
started.
Good point.
And about 7 years down the line, we bought him out. I think for his $20,000 investment, we paid him north of $7 million.
Whoa. So he did
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I think Dennis did good.
Made out pretty good.
Never had a cash call, never signed a document.
No kidding.
I remember driving
So
up.
silent owner in the max right there.
I've had 1,000 people say, hey, I'll give you 20,000. I said, I don't know if I can do
That
that
ship has
again.
sailed.
I'm 65. It took a lot of blood, sweat, and
Right.
tears.
I bet.
Having worked in the industry, I know he sat in on meetings and just sat in the corner and kind of just watched.
Yeah. Well, you have to do some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Be a fly on the wall. I'd love to be a fly on the wall. Some of these meetings that we got going on right there to kind of witness some of the shenanigans that we're unaware that's going on. But I remember I used to work in Irving, and I used to commute all the way up here to Frisco, and I'd see your trucks out there, and I was a general contractor, and I was like, God bless. How the heck am I going to be able to get like Rodham and just have a big ass company like yours? It was impressive. Your trucks were everywhere.
Yeah, who came up with the logo? Because it's very atypical for a construction company, and that's why I kind of thought that it was Dennis Rodman involvement, and obviously it is.
He would have picked like a lime green or something, or pink, not blue.
Something
Right.
crazy, but
Right.
it's still atypical for a construction company logo,
But
right?
yeah, no, and it's crazy. Goes way back. I had a company I started when I was 19, Cowboy Trucking in the oil field in Oklahoma, and I had an old artist. He died, but he created Cowboy Truck, large C, OWBO, and the Y was big. So I just took that, and then the guy, I can't say his name. He is a famous artist on like John Force's race cars, the whole deal.
Oh, yeah.
He lived over here in Irving, I think.
Really?
Oh, wow.
And Luke Nicodemus was his name, and he took that drawing, and the first time he airbrushed that, I go, that's it. And that became the
logo.
Yeah, I'm Barry, and I looked at him and go, yeah, that's it. So
Very recognizable.
that's how it started.
Yeah, very cool.
And people thought at first it was kind of, I don't know, that's not really heavy construction. But afterward, when we started putting it on red Peterbilts,
Yeah,
It looked good.
yeah,
it resonates.
we started selling clothes and hats and all kinds of stuff with it. But yes,
It just got crazy.
yes.
So, what made you want to take this jump? I mean, obviously, because look, with your job, you could continue to run your company and be successful. What made you jump into wanting to have more of a influence in our city?
About 2.5 years ago, I retired from the heavy lifting. I'm 65. I know I look like I'm 45. But
I was going to say at least 42.
guy told me today, you look like you're 75. I said, all right, thanks, bud. But actually was just getting myself set up to start retirement. Retirement to me, I'll never stop working.
Right.
Got a ranch in eastern Oklahoma where my mom and dad live. There's north of Stigler, and they're 90 years old. Time to join, I will take that and run with it. But and then we got the farm in northwest Oklahoma, northwest of Oklahoma City, about 70 miles. So my great-great-grandfather started that in 1895. 7 generations on the farm. I've been buying land up there this whole time. So my plan was to leave and go back to Oklahoma. It's
You got
peaceful.
some oil
Yeah,
on those?
maybe.
Maybe.
What were you guys farming out there?
So it's dry land, so we don't get irrigation. But, back in the day, we farmed wheat and wheat and wheat. Now my brother and my nephew, they do no-till. They farm milo, they farm wheat, they farm canola, sesame, mung beans, something pink I just heard. So they're trying everything. But
Those are all dry crops.
Yep. So,
Interesting.
and so what they do, used to, you would plant wheat September, October, and then in June you harvested. Well, if you got a dry, like right now, they're in a drought. Wheat's probably going to be 35, 40 bushels an acre. Last year raised 100, 110. So what they do, they'll plant September, but right now they're putting seed in the ground. So they're trying to catch a rain. You never know when if you're going to get your 25, 30 inches a year.
Right.
But if you go through a drought season, then you're going to have a wet season. But if you don't have seed in the ground, you're not going to get anything.
Sure. So you got to try to time it right.
The biblical principle of sowing and reaping. So the farmer is the greatest picture of that in the world, and he lives totally by faith. So here's what Clark said. I'm going to sow, and if that doesn't come up, I'm going to sow again. If that doesn't work, I'm going to give God 3 seasons to hit that I can hit the rain, because you have no control of the water. So constantly trusting God for that. So that's a sidetrack, but the life of a farmer, and you learn that. So it's no different in whatever you want. If you want respect, sow respect. If you want love, sow love. If you want whatever it is a universal law of God. You don't have to be a believer, but if you sow, you can't sow. I mean, you can't reap if you don't sow.
Right.
That's
right?
in the
So,
book of Galatians, I think, right?
there you go. Stick seed in the ground.
Yep.
Look at Solomon.
So you were farming before you started the construction
Yes,
company
sir.
then?
I was a farmer. We have been farmers. The 7th generation is on the ground. So,
Wow.
when I got here, the closest thing to dirt farming was excavation.
There you go.
All right. So
Okay.
I was high school educated. I went to Liberty Baptist College for 1 semester. Came home at Christmas, counted 34 drilling rigs off the back porch. Kingfisher in Blaine County, look it up. One of the hottest oil fields in, I don't know, not as good as West Texas, but
Right.
it's good.
Crazy.
So I started cowboy trucking
Okay.
4 days before my 20th birthday.
In Oklahoma.
Yep.
Now, was that carrying the oil? Is that what it was?
No, it was just basically building locations. Little dozer work, hauling shale, hauled some salt water.
Gotcha.
Anything they'd let me do
Yeah,
Right.
haul them whatever.
at 19 years old.
Oh,
Wow. So you've been an entrepreneur from the get-go.
Yeah, I don't have a college education, but I tell people that I've paid high tuition for my education.
Sure.
Right.
Well, there's something to be said about that.
Sure.
You know, life
lot.
experience is far more. College is actually kind of overrated right now. Actually, it's always been overrated.
It is.
You know,
Yeah.
especially the way the dynamics of these teachers and the influences and the outside influences they're having on some of the teachers in there. They're kind of, just the whole education program in itself is kind of steered away from real history,
Well, and I think a lot of the kids are deceived. They say, "Oh, you get a college education, you get a job, a good paying job."
You're entitled to a job.
Thank you. You better get up every morning and go to work. That's all I can tell you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's it may have changed a little bit, but even when I got out of college, I didn't get the job that I was looking for, that I went to school for. I wanted to get into radio and audio production and sound production and all that stuff. And it didn't happen, right? So I ended up down here, and I ended up in corporate America.
Now he's on the #1 podcast in Frisco.
That's right.
And now look at you.
Absolutely.
Right. So, I ended up
Sounds
in
good to me.
Yeah. No, it worked out.
He's got the radio voice.
I met the wife,
We
the family, and everything, right? So, but it worked out. But I went to college, got this degree, the whole pathway, and this is what I want to do. And it didn't pan out, right? I couldn't find work and what I was looking to do. And you just have to adapt at that point.
When Barry and I started Rodman, we were several jobs would be on the side of an interstate. I remember down on Loop 12, and we were building Watkins Truck Terminal. And right after daylight, I'd see all these Mercedes-Benz and the Jaguars, everybody going by. About 3 in the afternoon, I'd see them coming back. So I told Barry, I said, we're not going to be we're not the smartest two in this group, but we're going to work 2 days for every one that everyone else works. And literally, you cannot. Persistence and really just get up every day, go to work, do what you know to do, and you can't. You can't beat it.
There's no replacement for that.
Education won't.
Yeah.
What did Calvin Coolidge say? Persistence alone is omnipotent, right? There's nothing more common than unsuccessful, educated people,
Right.
right? So you just got to get up every day and be persistent and consistent. Pastor Keith says that ultimately will equal omnipotence.
Right.
So anyway, we don't go too deep.
Well, yeah, I think the big problem with today's youth is no work ethic.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yes.
and what's sad is, like, we talk about our sons, our kids, and mine. I have 2 of my 3 are college educated. One, the last one's a mechanic, and they don't have to do much to shine,
Right.
because their peers have no work ethic.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And I'm like,
That's right.
and I want them to have the same work ethic that our generation did, and I want them to work hard and all that kind of stuff. But man, they have to do very little to look really good
Just
in this work environment.
And that's all they really want to do is to look really good. There's these content creators, just on social media, that's all they want to do is look good. It's like you're not doing anything. The OnlyFans feet pics kind of stupid stuff.
Well,
yeah.
social media is
Come on.
jading what
show
what
up
success
every
looks like.
day. Be there. Be the first one to work, the last one to leave.
That's right.
I promise you. Everyone is looking for leaders. And, you get paid what you're asking for if you do what you're asked for. But if you want to be paid more, everybody says, well, give me more money and I'll do more. I promise you, do more and they'll pay you more. Everyone is looking for leadership. You show me a guy, and he'll stand out if he's willing to pay the price, whatever that is, to do whatever needs to be done every day. I'll promise you, he'll rise to the top because everyone is looking for those kind of people.
Yeah, and we've got a void of it right now.
There's a huge void, and a lot of folks
In every industry, in every walk of life.
A lot of
It seems
folks,
that
I
way.
think, the whole COVID time frame skewed everyone to
That did
think
not
that
help.
remote work is a right these days. And now that they're being asked to go back in the office, I read articles that are like, well, I need to get paid more because now I got to pay for gas. and
you hear
and
this
that.
little echoing chamber of Greta Thunberg. How dare you
And I'm thinking-
make me go back to work?
And I'm thinking, did they cut your salary when you went at home? Says you didn't have to drive, right? So, but they want more now that they have to go back in the office,
Yeah.
and they're complaining, right? So,
Work less, paid more time off, more benefits.
yep. I worked.
Is that what your platform is?
I don't. You know what? If it's for the pay, we're in trouble. $1,500 a month. They won't. that might pay the electric.
Yeah, I was surprised. I actually did a little research once about how much city councils and mayors and stuff around all the cities around here that get paid. It's not much. You have to have a passion and have a drive
And
to want to get
another
there and do this.
You're
Right?
not doing it for the money.
No, it is when when you're elected in these positions, you are elected to be a public servant, and that word servant, the greatest servant leader on the planet was Jesus, right? So,
Right.
Amen.
and when you serve that way, people will follow. I just look at our whole structure of our city, and it's based on a leader that it's all about himself. But there are great people in Frisco. There's great people on our city staff. You serve people, and I promise you, that's how we built Rodman. I served those guys. I'd be out there till midnight with them, right? Show up and hand out $100 bills to 30 of them laying steel at 11 o'clock at night so they could do a pour at 6 in the morning. If you'll serve people, I promise you, they'll follow you into hell.
Sure.
Right? They just want to know. There's two types of leadership. One is positional, which, do you know who I am? I'm your boss. Do what I tell you. Or
Right.
there's relational. And in relational, you don't have to tell them who you are. You show them, right? And that's through servant leadership.
Yeah.
So.
And they're following you without being told.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's great. All right. So construction for sure.
Yes, sir.
Have you served in any public capacity besides what you're looking for now?
So P&Z, I believe I have somewhere around 92 to 96, 93 to 97.
PUC. Okay.
Yeah.
Planning and zoning, right?
P&Z, planning and zoning.
Yeah.
And I was asked by, in fact, George Purefoy asked me, he said, hey, get on the planning and zoning. You know how to read plans, and you're a civil guy. So I did, and I enjoyed it. I got, at that time, of course, Rodman was growing, and there was a lady I saw, it was in 96, and she walked up and said, when I'm elected to city council, you're off. You're done. I said, okay, I'll be fine. What was amazing, the first council meeting I went back to here a month or two ago, I hear this voice, and she's down there yakking.
Oh.
Same lady in 2026 that was there in 1996, raising hell. She's there again today in 2026.
On the council?
No.
No.
She's just
public-
speaking at this
Public
point.
speaker. Yeah, public.
During the public comments,
Yeah.
and she's attacking people. So, anyway,
It's a lifestyle. She on George Soros's payroll?
I don't even
She
know.
could be getting some
But
funny.
Paid activist.
That's why. And I never ran for. I was asked to run for mayor when I was 42 years old, but I didn't because we had at that time it was the largest business in Frisco, largest taxpayer. I don't mix business and politics. You just
Right.
don't do
When
that.
you were 42?
42, they asked me.
Well, you're probably still enjoying that Crown Royal. I don't want to
Yeah.
messing around with that. Mix those times
I think
up.
there's a
God bless.
little mixing
You
going
had
on
to
right
bring
now.
that up, but might have been at 42. Yes, sir.
So you dipped your toe in public service with the planning and zoning, and after that,
Well, so really, George Purefoy, city manager, and I can't say enough about this guy. What was that? They let him, he left at 34 years and 8 months. And couldn't let him have 35 years. But his fingerprint is all over the city. I'm telling you, if it was not for George Purefoy, Frisco would not be. And you can ask the past 4 or 5 mayors, they'll tell you the same thing. That guy took me under his wing. There's only 2 people on the planet that call me Rodney. One is my mother, and one is George Purefoy. And he has been a dear friend. I spent a lot of time. People don't know that he spent 17 years cleaning up Exide Battery.
wow.
That biggest burden, he told me, the toughest thing he ever did. But that guy fought for the city of Frisco.
That was a tough cleanup, too.
Wow.
The whole experience was tough, and they kept it pretty quiet. I mean, everyone knew about it, but it was never on the radar.
And here's the deal. The actual, what do you call it? The harmful, there's a word I'm looking for here. It was never there.
the environmental impact.
Yeah, and they call it.
Is that effluent?
No, I'll think of it in just a second. But our yard was right to the north. And, of course, everybody's screaming, oh, those stacks are putting off crap. It's causing everybody cancer, whatever. We put sniffers up, right? And the parts per million that were ever measured, the system wouldn't even measure it. There was no lead. So what little lead fell right here. But the process type of lead that it was, there was no threat to anyone.
The mercury, lead, cadmium, nickel, potassium hydroxide.
all that. I'm just telling you, we had
And none of that was a toxic threat.
We were adjacent. We were probably 1,000 foot from that stack. All right, and what the prevailing winds in Texas are south.
Oh yeah.
So it's blowing right over us every day.
Right.
Nothing.
I remember that stack.
Nothing. But the fact that the reason why they tried to file bankruptcy and leave the mess, and George tracked them down all the way to Delaware. They were a Delaware corporation. I wonder why. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And literally, that judge said, "No, you're not filing bankruptcy. You're going back to Frisco, and you're going to clean that mess up." And George, they're still working on it. But George spent and of course he's had mud thrown at him, the whole deal. But when it's done, it'll be all developable. There's a little area right down there that they basically Frisco's going to own. It can be a park or whatever, but we're not going to build a building on it.
Sure.
So the rest of it is all developable. Anyway, that is part of Grand Park.
I was going to say that's a Grand Park.
And
yeah, I drive by that every day, and I see them. I drive a school bus for the school district.
yes.
And I drive by down Parkwood, and I watch them out there, and I mean, quickly, but every day I see their progress and what they're doing. And they're moving a lot of dirt out there right now.
And they are touching every inch that's got anything. Make them clean it up.
That's good, though.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Of course.
I'm glad he's doing the right thing.
But that's
how
taken-
many times does that stuff get swept under the rug?
Yes.
And then you just don't, and then 20 years later, kids, they build an elementary on it.
Right.
And then all these
No.
people have issues, and so I love that they're doing the right thing.
Never do residential, never do nothing where kids are going to be crawling around. But the reason I said that, because I can't say enough about George Purefoy. And the fact that I was blessed enough to meet him, basically, he got here the same year I did, maybe a year before, 85 or 86. I got here in 86.
Okay.
And he just took me under his wing. Back in the day, Dr. Reedy, our schools.
Right.
When Dr. Reedy, I went to one of the reasons I started running for mayor is Keela told me, Pastor Keith's daughter, said, you need to go to the school board meeting Monday night. They're talking about taking the 10 Commandments out of school. So I go over there, and when I hear 2 or 3 going, yeah, we don't need them. Kids want to read them. They can read them at home. So I just stood up and told them, I said, I remember when we started building these schools, Dr. Reedy would walk into a school any given day, talk to anyone, and pray with the kids, encourage them, whatever. And now we've got to, maybe we ought to take the 10 Commandments out. How did we get here? When I was walking out the door, Stephanie Elad, who Jared, her husband, is city councilman.
Right.
Yeah.
She grabbed me by the arm and said, hey, you need to run for mayor. We need your help. I said, yeah, okay. She goes, you need to talk to my husband. I said, okay, well, give me my number and call me tomorrow. She goes, no, you're going to go talk to him right now. It was like 8 o'clock on Monday night. We sat there till 11:30.
She's pretty assertive.
Oh, she
huh?
was on it. And, of course, that's really when I said, okay. That's the first time that I heard Mayor. I'd heard what was going on with Cheney and some of the leadership here, but I really didn't know. And then I started stepping in and went and talked to Pastor Keith. I don't do anything with Major in my life without asking him. And about 2 minutes into the conversation, he goes, yes, you need to run for mayor. So that was pretty well the answer. Spent some time with the Lord, got several words out of the Word. And so I knew that's what I needed to do. So here I am. Is it enjoyable? Parts of it are. What's great is all the wonderful people I've met. Frisco is full of great people. There's no doubt about it. And it is a great city. It's the other crap, the political crap that I don't really
we're not
care
big
about.
fans of the infighting.
Thank you.
They're serving themselves as a huge distraction. They're not focused on what they should be, which is the constituents, the people, the citizens of Frisco.
Exactly.
It's almost like, just a regular federal Congress and Senate. They're there to serve themselves and not the constituency.
I mean, it's 2 hours of just banter before they can even really get to the real meat of what these events are for.
It's even longer than that. I left there the other night. It's 10:45 at night, and these folks are still up here attacking people. That meeting every 2 weeks, it's there. It's for the development of Frisco. It's for whatever's on the agenda. It's there to do business. It's not, you have a public time where people can make comments. They can ask questions, and you have to have that. The people need to be heard.
Absolutely.
It's no different than Sharia law folks taking the First Amendment and calling Islam a religion and building a mosque under that and being protected under that. It's the same now. They're using a public forum that was meant for the good of the people of Frisco.
Right.
And by God, you have to listen to me, so I'm going to sit here and destroy people personally. And I promise you, When I'm mayor, they may take me to jail, but I will personally step down and drag this guy out because it's not going to happen in this city. It's ridiculous. And people sit there and let these people go on. It's insane.
You and I talked briefly about this, and my feeling is I think the city council allows folks to speak that are not from Frisco.
I've heard that also.
So they're coming in, and I think, I don't know what it's going to take to change that, but I think you have to physically be here and live here in Frisco to be able to speak in front of the city council.
100% agree.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're getting outside influences, people looking for clickbait.
Oh, yeah,
People
it's just social media.
social media
I mean, it's
influencers. They
a-
want to go viral.
It's just as absurd as an outside influence contributing money to people's campaigns.
Exactly.
You know, why are people in Plano contributing to some of these mayoral candidates? I'm not saying that's happening. I'm just saying why it's the same thing.
Right.
I think I've heard Soros is throwing a little money in here.
Would not
I
surprise
wouldn't
me.
doubt it.
So what are you looking to change?
That's a
it's a wide open question.
That's a
but-
big question.
Yeah. So what specifically, what do you see the problems being?
So-
what would be the top 5 things or whatever that you see as problems, and what would you like to change?
Okay, so let's isolate what I would see as problems or challenges. First of all, we're going to restore accountability to our city government, being elected officials. We're going to have transparency. We're going to share what's going on. You know, so much I hear is going on behind closed doors. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the idiots that are talking all day, the only time they can do business is behind closed doors. I don't know. But we are going to restore the integrity of that city office, city hall, where we do business. And then we're going to go to work. The city council, the mayor, city staff, the people that are decision makers, we're going to decide on what are we doing with Frisco, what is best for this city, what's best for the people of this city, and we're going to write it down. And that's why, you know, it's like having core values, right? All of us have values, and we make decisions every day based on our values. So we're going, what should be the core values of the leadership of Frisco, the elected leadership? It should be what is best for the city. Every day we make decisions on what's best for the city, what's best for the citizens of Frisco. It's not complicated to me, but when you've got a lot of this, what's best for me, and developers, whoever, they've laid the path. You want to come in and here's how we do it, right? So I'm not accusing anyone. I'm not judging anyone because I don't know the facts. It's like that old man billionaire told me, son, I don't deal in facts, only what I've been told. So we're going to find out what's going on, and we're going to get that foundation straight. After we get that straight, here's what the people are saying every day. First of all, it's really mostly it's the fear of traffic or the frustration of traffic right now.
Sure.
And the fear of traffic, what's it going to look like 5 years from now?
Right.
The multifamily.
Especially when they got the Universal Studios being populated up north of us.
50,000 cars a day.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
I mean, we've gone from 25,000 to almost 300,000?
250 right now.
250,000.
Build out will be somewhere around 330,000.
I mean, I don't care who has moved in here, where they came from, you know, what they're doing. When you go from that number to that number, you're going to have problems.
Well, so, you know,
especially with these folks that don't really know how to drive.
well, that's another deal. I'm going to hand out some stickers that say hammer down. That was our old saying at Rodman. But so, you know, the one thing is our master plan, when we designed it, you know, it's crazy. When I was on P&Z, we actually designed all the thoroughfares of Frisco, the first master plan.
Nice.
And about a year later, George Purefoy came back and said, nope, this isn't big enough. So we went back and enlarged the thoroughfares. Looking at Plano, we had a great pattern to look at. And at the build out of Frisco, what we have would be great. But who could have thought about Prosper and Salina?
And they have nowhere to go but south.
Pilot Point, Aubrey. Now that 380, everybody's yeehawing because 380's got all the flyover and traffic's flowing.
Oh, yeah.
What does it flow to? 80% of it flows to the tollway, which comes right through Frisco.
Yep.
Right.
So what we have to do is get all of our major thoroughfares built out. Our master plan is there. You look at a lot of the east-west, even north-south lane. They're still 4-lane. They should be 6-lane.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't understand why, but our city, we have a small company that's doing it. They do a good job, but they take forever, and there's no timelines. let's throw out some early completion bonuses. Let's put enough out at one time where we can get some major, like a Senecola to take it on, or an RPM, or an LH Lacey. Someone's been around here 100 years that will take that job and blow it out. Every morning you've got 2 lanes open. They put barricades out and they shut it down to 1 lane.
Yep.
I drove one the other morning at 10 o'clock just to see. I counted 4 people in the median in a 2-mile stretch. There should have been 40. Well, you're going to shut us down to 1 lane. Let's get something done.
Right.
That's really surprising. I mean, Frisco is a national renowned city now.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
we're really well known, and we're the fastest growing city in the country, or we were
at one point. Yeah.
We were at one point, and it's surprising to hear that we're kind of have small. I don't want to say small town or smaller.
Well, it's the reality of lines just don't connect sometimes when you're trying to run stuff.
Well,
No, but I mean the people were choosing to do our infrastructure work.
Okay.
You're saying it was a smaller company.
Because no large company is going to take on adding a 3rd lane to either side of this boulevard when it's 2 miles long.
Well, what about the roundabout?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
What about the roundabout by what's the corner?
Well,
there?
I go through it every day 3 times. Ohio and Gaylord, they've just started on that roundabout down there, and I drive through it, and I'll see maybe 1 guy, 2 guys out there.
I mean, if your company was out there, I would expect them to get it done in 2 to 4 weeks. I mean, it's not hard. It's not rocket science.
So where we live, time is money. Where a Senecola lives, time is money. But a Senecola who's building $150 million, I don't even know what the tollway is, they're not going to pull some of their guys off to add these lanes. But
so we're not big enough for them.
Here's what's going on. The city right now doesn't want to spend too much money because it's coming out of their budget to build these streets. But they're willing to and I'm just going to throw it out. Not that I would say we would ever add to a bond, but they're willing to vote yes on a $360 million bond for a performing arts center.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
And they're willing to add $1.2 billion, Mark Hill, dollars worth of debt to our public schools, which has $2.2 billion of bond debt right now, to start remodeling when our enrollment is falling every year.
Remodel.
But
These are new schools.
traffic, which affects just about everyone in Frisco. Let's not, if you were going to talk about a bond, put up a $50 million bond, blow these streets out in 2 years. The people might vote yes for that. I don't know. But all I'm saying is the mindset is backwards to me.
Right.
What needs to be done gets trickle funding. What we want or what might look good or what somebody emotionally goes, oh, yeah, we need that. They're willing to vote for a $350 million bond to lay the burden on the taxpayers.
Yeah.
So they're focused on nice to have, not need to have.
Exactly. So my whole deal with Frisco is let's build out what we need to in that infrastructure. Let's get it done. It's the same way with debt. We got $900 million of debt, $1 billion of debt. It's set up to be paid off in 2044. Why are we spending 18 years paying this off? What could happen? Let's get debt free. Let's be like the state of Texas. Let's get some surplus.
Right.
I'll quit talking here.
It's good stuff. That's why you're here today. People want to hear you. I mean, I want to hear you.
And this is a platform for people to hear your passion, right? So, I mean, that's why you're in it.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating to how am I going to put this? You know what? I won't. It's a little frustrating to hear some of the other candidates on what their platforms are when you don't subscribe to some of their philosophies. So it's refreshing to have you on to talk about some of yours. So, I mean, do you think some of it has to do with, as far as the 3 lane, is some of the tolls? I mean, the toll road, that they pay more?
No, well, and here's the deal. Everybody hates the toll road, which, I don't understand.
Everyone hates paying tolls is what it is.
But everyone loves the toll road. And I've got to the point, to me, time is money to me. And I'll pay the toll all day long. I don't want to see the bill, just pay it because I've got to get where I need to go.
But some of the Americans out there in Texas, those tolls are expensive.
Exactly.
And to me, it doesn't make sense to send that. I mean, I don't even know where those tolls go. I mean, we've got this fantasy. Oh, it goes here, it goes there. But at the end of the day, where does it go? There's a lot of cars going through there. You could be funding a ton of stuff. And I've heard rumors it's going to Saudi Arabia, it's going here, it's going there.
Going to Mexico.
Nobody knows where the heck it's going. I don't.
I don't think. Ivan, you want to say something?
I was going to say my understanding is that the tolls are used to expand, so it's why they keep expanding it.
Right.
But I do think we need to do a deep dive into that because it affects everybody. I mean, come on, it goes up every day.
When 121 was switched to a toll road, I mean, it was a U.S. state highway. And, they voted on it. And it's the ignorance of the voters out there. This is the problem. People don't vote. Oh. And when they didn't vote, they converted a U.S. state highway to a toll road. Now it's a San Marino toll road. It's ridiculous. It comes to a certain point where it's paid for.
But I don't think it's that simple, though. I mean, they have two options. Put a bond out there to get people to vote for it, to raise money, to pay big, to big construction companies to build 121, or somebody comes in and says, I'll front the money, but I'm going to turn it into a toll road so I get my investment back.
But
and
that's
then
just
that way,
it.
you're not taking it to the voters. You're not risking the chance of the bond getting voted down.
But
so it isn't. I don't think it's that simple.
But I grew up on the East Coast,
and
they
about that
they had toll roads over there. All right, and when the road was paid for, the tolls were taken out, and it was business as usual.
But the challenge here is that there is never going to be a situation where the toll road doesn't need to be expanded. I mean,
but they can.
It keeps going north,
but they can remove tolls from. Let's say, all right, look. Let's say the toll's expanding 20 miles north. Let's say, all right, well, let's go 10 miles, 15, 20 miles into the city, and then everything after that, we'll go ahead and delete it. And as it's expanding, you decrease the footprint. And,
I don't disagree with that. It all comes down to how much money they're raising and how much they need.
They got way too much. They're getting way too much.
Well,
I know because I pay it.
Okay, so yeah, it's expensive. But if you look at our infrastructure from here to Fort Worth in the last 20 years, it has. You look at 183, you look at 820, you look at 35 South, 35W, all of them have been expanded. Our traffic still flows well.
It does.
The growth of this Metroplex has been crazy in the 20 years. What is expected in the future is even faster. So the fact that they're, as long as they are, and I don't disagree that we need to check, but I'm told pretty well the Texas Tollway Authority, North Texas, is they're taking these funds to build the next one, the outer loop that's out here right now.
Right.
That's a 600-foot wide right-of-way. I'm pretty sure like 635, 121 is 300. Okay?
So they're having to buy all
and
that.
what they're talking about, bringing train through the middle, all the...
but who's going to own that?
Well, I mean...
we're paying for it, so who's going to own that?
Well, so I'm sure the Tollway Authority will own it. And I don't know how the Tollway Authority stacks on top of state, but the Tollway Authority, here's my deal. And I think really, a lot of truckers hate if they drive the service roads, but in order to keep this traffic flowing, and I agree, like the first section of the Tollway from downtown Dallas North, that thing has been paid for 20 times.
Yeah, that was a good point. That was a good point.
So how the deal worked, like OHL, some of the Spaniards that came in here, the people from Europe, they've been doing tollways a long time. One of those tried to buy us at Rodman. The way they explain it is they bring the funding, they bring everything. When they finished with that tollway, they then get the maintenance on it, and they get the revenue for so many years.
Yeah.
That's how they get paid back. But they get the maintenance on it for, I don't know, as long as they want it, I guess.
But doesn't like the U.S. State Highway 121, they're a state highway. They already get funded.
Well, but 121, I mean, you look at 121 where it sat, the state didn't have the funds to blow 121 from a little 4-lane into what it is. Just not enough money. And even with federal matching, there's not enough. So I think there's a place for the Tollway Authority. But when somewhere it needs to come back to the citizens or to the state or to our county somewhere. I mean, we need the return.
I think that's the frustration. I mean, definitely,
it is, and it's the empty hole it falls in, and then where is that hole? What is it? What they're saying it?
I don't think. But
who owns the company?
I don't think.
Are they from America? Are they United States citizens?
Yes, it's a U.S. company.
Yeah,
I don't think there. I think there is transparency. I just don't think we see it. Like we're not in the loop, so we don't. I mean, I don't think they would be shy about telling you exactly how much money they bring in. I think they have to, actually.
Well, yeah.
How much money they bring in, what their projected revenues are, what their projected costs are, given the planned expansions. I mean, like you said, the outer loop, that's going to be an elevated highway. at some point.
It's going to be crazy. I mean, that
Yes.
takes you all the way around the east side, drops you on to 30 and 20. It'll go all
Yep.
around the north side of Lake Louisville.
That's going to be the next 635.
My
loop.
understanding is it takes you west of Alliance Airport, west of 35W. It'll drop you down on 30 and 20, literally completely around the city.
You're talking billions of dollars.
Right. So right now your intermodals, you realize that trains don't run East Coast, West Coast. They stop here, dump on the east side. All the freight's picked up, carried around to the west side, loaded on trains again, and go.
Oh, you mean when they hit DFW?
Yeah, and I don't. You tell me this is freaking
That's crazy.
2026.
You think they'd?
But that's how it works. So the intermodal that's down on 35,
Right.
and of course that's where they want to unload. They'll use this loop, moving that freight back and forth.
Oh, with a new railway.
Right.
A
A
new
lot of
railway.
that freight goes then to Houston, put on a ship. But I don't know the whole logistics. I just know back when Matt Shahan was county commissioner, we were Rodman. I met with him on that outer loop multiple times, and it was amazing the thought process of everything that it was going to provide.
Yes.
Now,
And you're saying they were ahead of the game on it.
Yeah.
now is this under construction now, or
Well, they have built from the tollway east. They have the eastbound lanes, service lanes, all the way to 75.
That's
Go-
right. It
go-
just recently opened.
That's right. Go up and drive it. So they're a long way from the major thoroughfares, but that I think needs to be built to stuff. Otherwise, the flow from the north is going to just wear us
Yeah,
out.
they need another avenue.
Yeah.
Another way to go.
Right,
For sure.
so where is this at on 75? I guess further north, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's. I believe it comes
The
across
outer loop. Is that
Anna, Melissa.
is that where that courthouse is?
There it is, right there. No,
Bloomberg.
you're further north. You got to go north. Slide south. There's your courthouse. Right. I think that's the courthouse right there. No, is that?
Yeah.
Well, that's 75.
Yeah, there's the courthouse.
So it's
Oh, it's
quite,
even
it's quite a
farther
bit
than
farther
that.
north.
There's
Okay.
Bloomdale. Yeah,
Okay.
it's up there.
Yeah. There you go.
It's up there by.
Past Denison.
Yeah. So to trace that west.
No, it's
No,
just short
so-
of
Where's
Melissa.
where's
Yeah.
Anna,
where's
excuse me.
Bucky's? I know where that is.
Buc-ee's is
at
south.
the
Right.
corner there.
Right.
So it's just
there.
north of
There's
Buc-ee's.
Just
Yep,
north of
just
Buc-ee's.
All right, I know where that's
There
at.
you go.
Those are important landmarks. Guys.
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
My wife likes to go to Buc-ee's.
You got to know where your Buc-ee's
bless.
is.
Gotta
Yeah,
know
that's
where
it.
Buc-ee's is. All right, so this outer loop. All right, so go head west with it. So it
Right.
goes all the way. It winds through,
Well,
Prosper, Salina. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it'll head west, which you see pieces of it there.
There you go.
And I don't know exactly where it all connects, but
That's brilliant.
thoroughfares.
So I mean, that's a good plan. It's solid, and I don't mean to dump on you the frustrations collected about the tolls, but it is a reality. And at some point, I think that there should be, and if they were even to entertain or at least explain to people, hey, look, the bleeding will stop at some point.
Yes.
Yes, we do need to maintain the highways, and there will be a toll. But look, they've got money that they're generating from 20 miles north that should be able to fund the tolls down here. I mean, they should just offer.
It's projected
Well,
to be finished in 2150.
Yes, just have an end date somewhere.
So when people
We'll be
don't know, that's where the frustration comes from.
And that's just it. They should be more transparent about it. Because we've talked about it a bunch
Oh,
of
yeah.
times.
It's like our EDC. Everybody thinks, man, what's all that 40? They get 40 million a year. The CDC gets 40 million a year. Everybody's going, where's that money going? So I went to Jason Ford, the president of the EDC, first time, and I asked him. He goes, well, let me tell you. So they did a survey, and it was a large company did maybe the top 10 EDCs in America. Frisco was in the top 1 or 2. But he said they proved up over the last 14 years for every dollar invested by the EDC, it returned $3 to the city.
That's a nice return.
Thank you.
I think they're doing pretty good.
I said, can I get in that? They go, no. I said, okay, I understand. But why don't you let the people of Frisco know?
Yeah,
If they would just tell that, I'm telling people it's the best half-cent tax I'm paying.
right.
Right?
It is so easy for people to complain when they don't know how good they got it.
That's it.
Because they're ignorant.
Well,
I mean, they
yes.
just don't. I mean, when I say ignorant, I'm not being, I'm not dogging them.
Yeah, but are they
they're
ignorant?
not in the loop. They're not sure exactly. They're not voting.
Well, I was about to bring that up. So,
Yeah, go ahead.
big example. I mean, you guys are asking questions about roads and everything. So, we got to remember that our local government has a bigger impact on our lives than the president, than the Senate,
Of course,
than state reps.
Absolutely.
And let's take January, the special election. 6% turned out for the election.
Yep.
6%.
That's ridiculous.
It
And
is crazy.
And don't get me going.
Yeah.
Waffles. I waffled myself.
Waffles.
And of the 6%, you got to figure out who's actually showing up to this stuff.
Right.
A lot of these people don't have the traditional Texas standards in mind when they're going to the voting box. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
It's pitiful.
Yes.
Our Republican Party. I mean, our churches, all of them. It's amazing how many people just don't get involved.
Yeah, that is crazy. Now, I think one thing Frisco can do a better job at is communication, right? Because we're talking about, well, we don't know. Well, the reason we don't know is communication. They may have a website or this or that, but, I don't know what I'm looking at here, and the communication needs to be better by the city council.
There's a lot of obfuscation.
I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know how you would do it. Is it a mailing? I get it, and do I read
technology
it?
nowadays.
Yeah,
just
Facebook.
Zoom, have a call, town hall. I mean, be accessible to the people.
Do you feel like they are? I don't feel like they're deliberately not being that way, but they could be doing more.
Yes, in my opinion.
I mean, there are. I mean, look, we're the technology is smart enough to be able to do a bunch. I mean, you could log on to any specific website, and you can just generally ask some questions, and the people at home can answer those. Now, granted, just like clicking yes or no or A through whatever it is.
Oh, you mean like surveys?
Yeah, surveys, and just I think it would be great because it's kind of like who's there are game shows out there like who trying to answer the correct questions.
That's like the old cube that I had growing up. Anyway,
but I think it would be it's a good point.
Look at President Trump. He is daily making himself anyone. I mean, when he sits around that round table, right? Yep. His cabinet. Hey, you're going to talk on that, and you're going to talk on that, and you're going to talk on that. People, if you let them know every quarter or every 2 months, whatever it is, on this night, we are going to have just like this, people in the room, and we're going to talk about what's the EDC doing, what's the CDC doing, what are we doing as a
and we're going to clear
council.
up all the misconceptions about this and that breeds, conspiracy and
I think that would be good, but I go back to we had 6% vote. You're going to have 6% of the population that may be interested to go see this thing, right? So you need to get,
that's the problem.
That's the problem. We're interested in seeing this. How do you get the general public a little more knowledge of what you're doing as a city council, right? I think that's it. Getting the dorks like us who are into this stuff, and follow it is one thing, but getting, all the neighbors and everyone like that information so they feel, all right, the city council is actually doing something. The mayor is actually doing something. Hey, we are moving in the right direction.
That's the problem. How do you get people to care, right? People are apathetic. People, they're just focused on taking care of the kids, trying to have a good life.
They're human.
Getting their job. I mean,
we're human. Creatures of habit.
The rest of it is noise. And you can't fault them for that.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, how do we make it accessible to maybe pique their interest? Not everybody. Not everyone's going to tune in.
But Ivan, to your point, these are consequential decisions being made by people that they have a direct impact on voting, on getting into these positions, right?
Yeah.
Now, part of that's being a United States citizen to vote. That's I don't know how many. I don't know. Is it a problem? Are we having outsiders voting?
I don't think Texas has an issue.
And we don't have Dominion voting machines.
And you're bringing up all sorts of.
I'm just pulling some stuff out.
He's our conspiracy.
You're going to get you guys pulled off the air. It's a good thing it's not 2020.
Well, hey, we got dinged for our opinions about the vaccine. So
nonstop.
Good.
Wait till he brings the pyramids up.
We're still
when
here.
the pyramids come up,
We're still here.
The crystal skulls
and crystal skulls.
But hey, you know what? Truth sets you free. Well,
there you go.
But there, I don't know. I am frustrated. I'm frustrated. I look at the fabric of our community, and it's changed. It's changed. It's not what it was 5 years ago at all.
You know what?
And
let's talk about it. That's the 800-pound elephant in the room, right?
Yeah.
So yes, cultures are changing. The Indian American or just Indian community went from what percentage to 33% now?
Yeah, 3% to 30%.
And I get that that's been a very flashpoint thing at the city council, but I will tell you, most everybody I'm talking to is like, what is going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're not necessarily being hateful, and they're not being like, we want them to be sent back home. They just don't understand how it's looking like this, and
Yeah.
and every shopping center.
Well, there's
is-
resentment because when you interview these folks, their allegiance isn't with the United States, Texas, Frisco. Their allegiance is with the motherland of India. So we're hemorrhaging money.
There's some. We got to be careful not to take the exception and assume it's the rule.
That's true.
I agree with that.
But there may be some.
But what's happening is that they're putting on social media and they're cherry picking these topics and they're blasting it. These are the reasons why we don't want these folks here. I know a ton of Indian folks, and they're all wonderful. I don't have an issue with them. I have an issue with an invasion in 5 years of 25%, 30% that's coming into Frisco. That's what I have a problem with because they don't assimilate. Hold on, and there's to further that agenda is the H-1B. And I'm not saying they're the reason, but you have that propaganda as H-1B as a tool of these folks getting into the United States. And it's kind of like, well, how do you start controlling this? They're taking advantage of the system. There's fraud, and you're looking at all these other stories. You got the gentleman Curly, what's his name, Hurley, the young reporter. What is his name? California, Chuck
Shirley.
Nick Shirley. You're talking about Nick Shirley in Minnesota.
Yeah, well, he's going all over.
Well,
There's fraud everywhere, and then when you have that lens that's focused on Frisco, and all of a sudden there's this explosion of Indian culture and population out here, and then another explosion of the H-1B fraud. And you're kind of like, are those two tied? Again, we're ignorant. We don't know. We're only seeing what we're seeing on the social media, and then you go to a town hall meeting, and you've got these Indian elites that are spouting facts off, which are true when they start talking to the average Indian folks make $150,000 a year, and they're their least or their lowest on the crime. They don't commit a lot of crime. Look, they offer a lot of fantastic things to the community. I don't want to throw stones at them like that. All I'm saying is that we got to turn the valve off a little bit, or we're not going to be the traditional Texas city here.
Well, the thing is, I don't think you're able to turn the valve off. If they want to move here, they can move here.
Well, I mean, true.
Well,
Agreed.
then you're being biased. You can't buy this house because of this. You can't live here because
yeah,
of
and
who
I
you
feel
are. You can't do
kind of
that.
shitty saying that, but it's just like it's just changing,
So, okay,
and change is good and bad.
H-1B is a federal program. Okay. Now, I think the program is being, I think the program is flawed, right? In that we're, obviously we're bringing in way too much foreign, doesn't have to be Indian, but we're bringing in so much foreign talent
That's true.
could be done with American jobs, right? We talked about how now it's difficult for our graduates coming out of college to find a job. And, and apparently H-1Bs are flourishing, right? But that's a federal issue. They've got to rein in that program.
Yeah,
right?
so
Go ahead.
what I was going to talk on that, because we were talking to a couple of friends, because we're throughout the community, both Indian and Christian, and really within Frisco.
Yeah.
And they said, we want you to think about it from this other way. What is the H-1B? Basically, they're being invited in.
Correct.
So how are we turning around and hating them for accepting our invitation?
Absolutely.
Our problem has to be with our federal government.
Right.
That's not handling it right.
Bingo.
Now, I think the local side is that there's got to be better relationships between the communities. And I mean, I know Rod's talked extensively about the need for the fact that we share so many common values.
Right.
And I think people operate under a place of fear. And it's why we need somebody like Rod, who is, kind of like the amazing transformation story from this guy from Oklahoma, country boy, who here can come and lead this multicultural city and bring the groups together. And just based on truth and facts, and be willing to say the things people don't really want to hear.
Right.
He'll say, hey guys, we need cooperation on both sides. We can't have one group in East Frisco, one group in West Frisco, and everybody fighting.
Well, I tell you what. I tell you. I mean, you hit a point with me, because it's always, for the longest time, it's been the East and the West. Kind of Frisco. It's almost like two different cities, and mindsets almost. And it's been like that well before, Richwoods and all this opened up over here. It's always been the east side is the old Frisco, and of course the west side is the new hoity-toity Frisco. Whether that's true or not, it's different. I drive my bus on both sides, and I can tell you there's a driving mindset is different on the west side than it is on the east side, right? They drive differently. It's much more aggressive on that side.
Well, aggressive could be good and bad. I mean, is it a bad aggressive?
Yeah, well, somebody pointed out the whole student driver. I mean, they've talked about that, and I don't know validity of that, but somebody pointed out. So, like, say somebody's coming over from India, if they've trained to drive there, they're used to driving on the other side of the road. So there is cultural, it's like progression that you've got to come in.
Right.
I think a big part of that, quite honestly, is I don't think women drive all that often in India. No.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. Let me play this out. Guys, I grew up overseas. Women don't drive very often overseas. So what happens is they come here, they would like to drive, they're expected to drive, the husband wants them to drive, they're very apprehensive and they're nervous, and so the husband says, tell you what, a lot of the other families are putting these stickers on the cars so that people will be a little more graceful for you when you're going a little bit slower and a little more apprehensive and hesitant. So let's put some stickers on the car so that you feel more, you feel safer, right? I think that's 100% what it is.
Well, I think the other aspect, and Rod, you can comment, because I know actually at one of your meet and greets, we met a very interesting gentleman who talked about it. He says part of the problem is that we don't have our communities mixing. So we've got these enclaves. It's almost like, first generation immigrants where you're living among your community.
Yeah.
And I've talked to others and they're like, we want to be here. Like, we want to be American.
Absolutely.
What does that look like, and how, we're better when we're come together, but we also got to mix and interact.
And that's also a choice on their side that they want to do this as well. And I think there's some pushback. I'm not saying all of them, but there is some who don't want to do that.
Inevitably.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as I think. If you're in the social media and you're looking at that stuff, it seems like it's dire.
Exactly.
And it's really not like that.
It's the clickbait, the influencers. I mean, look at the Frisco City Council meetings. I mean, okay, I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but I mean, it's a joke and it's embarrassment.
Yeah.
And it's hurting the city. It's
agree.
why Rod's attitude, we're not tolerating this. Because think about the impact that's going to have. Are businesses going to want to come and bring their money here? No, I mean,
it's creating a stain on the city.
It's a shame because Frisco is by far the best city to live in America. I mean, look at the amount of businesses we have here.
Entertainment.
Look,
food.
We go take my son to soccer games, go to baseball games, IKEA. You've got everything imaginable.
Yeah, but we lost Hooters.
We did lose Hooters.
God.
Oh, I'm kidding. That was a bad joke. Bad joke.
Hooters had a place here at one point. In fact, the way they weaseled themselves even into the Frisco limelight was kind of funny too.
It was a bad joke.
Yeah.
Ivan, please continue.
No. I was going to say, I mean, Frisco is an awesome place, but we've got to be mindful. And I kind of wonder, and I'm going to go along the lines of you with the conspiracy theorists, but I'm like, it seems like maybe outside influences are intentionally not wanting us to build a relationship. They're trying to break that coalition. Because imagine the combination between our communities, if we can agree. That's a ruling majority.
Yeah.
That, the elite, those that are used to having this little, I'll be careful with what I say, but you know what I mean?
Doing there.
It's a problem.
But the reality is, okay, look what this is coming on the heels of. Minneapolis, Minnesota, the whole Somalian thing blew up. It became massive, massive news. People are deliberately trying to make Frisco be the next big news Somalia, Minnesota thing.
So here's where
what they're trying.
Here's where you have to. As my grandpa used to tell me, son, you got to separate the fly specks from the pepper. So here's what's going on, and what those Somalians are. They are Sharia law folks, right?
Okay.
So we're going to keep that, but I'm telling you, the real concern in Frisco, there are two different challenges here.
Okay.
One is Sharia law. It is very serious, and trust me, they're coming here. Have you everything from Islam to the Quran, whatever you want to talk about in the Muslim world flows from Sharia.
Okay.
And you're going to start hearing a whole lot more. Our congressmen, our state representatives, the federal boys, they're working on that right now. When it comes to the Hindu people, you're talking about two totally different types of folks. And I'm glad you guys did all the talking, because it is the 800-pound, and any talking points the guys are really have against me is how I'm trying to deal with it. And truthfully, Ivan's been with me. We've been involved with a lot of the Hindu community over the last few weeks. And there's a lot of those guys that have been here 30 years, and they are successful businessmen. They basically, one told us a couple of days ago, tell President Trump, shut the whole H-1B down, kill it, wipe it out. It's been here since the 50s. You realize that? It was created for a reason. Every time the federal government, 90% of the time, when they come up with a program, it's because of a need and something we need their help. Look at DEI. It started out to be a great institution to help people. Right. What happened when they got raping billions and billions out of it, sticking in their own pocket? So it's no different here. The fraud with H-1B, all that, people they've used the loopholes. Now they're taking advantage of that system. And the more I talk to even CEOs of companies here, there's two places that we really need the Hindu people. That's in our doctors, our hospitals. White folks, us, I call us the white folks. Kids aren't willing to spend 8 to 10 years to become a doctor. Right. Don't want to pay the time. So hospitals are short. The guy that did my open heart surgery, my bypass surgery a year ago, Hindu Indian, awesome. I walked out on the 4th morning. I walked out and went home. Okay, so far it's perfect. Anyway, but then on there is a world race for everyone to control AI. In the tech world, that's where these young men are geniuses. When they go choose these H-1B, they are the top of the top.
That's what it's supposed to be.
They are the cream of the crop. Well, but because people now are being able to take advantage, that's where the fraud comes in and all that. But the purpose for which it was created is good. I just think, and these guys even know, clean this mess up. President Trump just changed the cost of an H-1B from $1,000 to $100,000 last week.
Meaning if you really need them, you got to pay for it.
Right.
And you got to be very selective on who you bring in.
Yes.
I'm okay with that.
Yes.
And I know that there is a shortage of certain highly skilled workers. I know there is. And the H-1B program is good for that.
But we need to do a better job.
Yes.
We need to do a better job cultivating the folks here in the United States to fill those jobs.
Yes.
I mean, there needs to be a demand. There needs to be programs set up to do that. People need to be going to high schools and colleges and promoting.
Somebody sent me something this morning, said that HEB is asking for H-1Bs for
come on,
people to work in their stores.
To bag the groceries.
H-1Bs putting halal food in the to feed the.
That's not what H-1Bs are made for.
Thank you. So here we've got an H-1B, which HEB, which I love. It's a Texas company. It's family owned. It's all the above. What are they doing?
They're bending the knee.
Well, hold on. Are they?
We got to get the facts, though.
Let's get the facts because if during COVID, there was a massive shortage of people willing to work.
Right.
Period. They just couldn't get workers.
Got it.
I mean, and at every level. Like we're talking, all the way down to flipping burgers to, whatever, right? So if HEB flat out they're expanding like crazy. They have gigantic stores that require a lot of employees.
Yep.
If they can't hire, what else are they going to do?
So find the truth. If they can't
find the truth,
if they can't hire and they have to go to H-1B, then I don't want to hear any of our folks complaining. There are jobs available.
Correct.
Good paying jobs.
Yeah, my son.
That's a good
point. He's going to College Station. And he couldn't get a job at HEB. They're full. So it's what are they? What do they get H-1B for? What do they need that?
No, H-1B you shouldn't have them in the stores. That's not what it's made for. It's made for the
It's not for like labor.
No, it's made. That's where it's being abused. Right. This is what I think is happening, and that's where the fraud comes in. The H-1B should be the upper level, the engineers, the whoever.
Hard to find.
Whatever
correct.
It is.
It's not baggers and stock people.
Well, and that's the basis. I mean, because ironically, it's a brain drain for India because we're bringing the best of the brightest here. But then we're hearing these stories of HEB, and quite frankly, I don't know. I haven't had a chance to research that in depthly, but we have to be kind of careful. That is this like some rare exception or something?
Yeah, I don't understand it.
But
it doesn't look good from the outside.
We're missing a point though with that though, because why is it that we're not like, let's say whites growing up here are not able to fill these jobs? I think it's a reflection of our education system.
I agree.
That's been, and we're going to go back to like the DEI and the woke culture, and we're not demanding enough of our kids. I mean,
right.
And we're allowing these schools not to actually teach curriculum, not to teach history, not to teach math. I mean, come on, we got was it Oregon where they said math was racist?
Right.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm sorry, no, that's just
Yeah.
to say that it's
Crazy.
stupid.
1 +
No,
1
yeah.
is 2
Like-
is racist.
But I mean, that tells you the mentality. Of course,
what do you
somebody
want
that-
it to be?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah. But then, okay, you can contrast that with somebody that, like, I know, like, from, like, I coached my son's soccer team at one point. A lot of the kids, we could only schedule soccer practice on certain nights because they have their kids in activities, writing, reading, math. You know, compare that to, you know, to ours sometimes where it's like, wow, like, I just say we have to raise the bar. We've lowered it. And it's the problem.
They're on their phone.
Sure.
Yeah.
Flipping TikTok, right, and stuff like that, instead of going to these classes and studying. So,
Well, we were training our kids to be Call of Duty champions. So, they were
Right.
supposed to win all these big tournaments and world competitions in video games.
Yeah, well, some of that's fun, but you should be basing your occupation on it. I mean, some of these kids make more money than all of us put together.
I know,
It's
well,
ridiculous.
there's a class at the CTE e-gaming.
Really?
Yep, 100%.
I heard it's a
take that.
sport.
It's a sport.
I'm just like,
It's a sport and
Well,
a
I'm like-
business.
yeah.
But there's a
nothing
place
wrong,
for that.
you know?
You can
Yeah,
you can take that talent and you can utilize it out in the field. There are drones out there there are drone operators that are required all over the planet. It's an aptitude that some of these guys. I mean, you ever seen these actual drones, these racing drones that fly through
yeah.
these little tunnels and then through these buildings and at super high speed? Good Lord.
Yeah.
That takes a special type
That
of brain
is
to do that
crazy.
kind of stuff.
All right, so Rod, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yep.
How many hours a night do you spend gaming?
You know what?
Come on, let's be real. You got to be honest
So
here.
I play solitaire.
Absolutely. Well, the one thing that I do, the only thing I do,
Wordle.
until I started running for mayor, I'd never been on social media in my life.
That's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
Well,
When
good
I
for
meet
you.
with,
But you're going to have to
leaders.
use that as a tool to
Oh,
reach your
yeah.
constituents, right?
Well, that's why I have a staff of people that handle it every day. I don't look at it. I don't watch it. I don't read it. I just do what I'm supposed to do. That's
Right.
run
I
for
got
mayor.
you.
Go meet people.
It's old school. There's
Actually,
nothing wrong with that.
well, no, but he's
I'm-
got a way to bridge it too. Like he posts videos periodically throughout
Okay.
the day, throughout the week. That it's like we kind of were like, well, how do we showcase Rod, the
Absolutely.
man?
Get the
And,
message out.
Trump had Twitter, and we realized, you know what? Just have him share some of his wisdom. 2 minutes each day, and it's a great way to meet
Yeah,
our
I've seen a
future
lot of your
mayor.
It takes
videos.
about 30 seconds, right?
Well,
I've seen your videos. They're perfect. They're exactly what you need. They fit the attention deficit disorder. That qualifies. People can listen to it, and then they can move on to the next one to get that. What do they call that? That dopamine hit.
Yeah.
but it gives access to the people, because I think that's our biggest problem right now too with the government officials is access. Like, here's what's cool. It's like, people may criticize Rod that he doesn't wear a suit all the time. I say that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Most of us don't want to. When he's got to, he
Right,
does.
right.
But he's a good man that actually has a vision for the city.
Right.
That's unusual.
Yeah.
And think about the difference too. He talked about it. He did not run for office when he still had business with the city. Isn't that kind of refreshing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that would solve half our problems right now.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, not even a hint of conflict of interest, right?
Yeah.
None.
I think we're running out of time. I want to get into more of your vision of Frisco, and if you're going to stick around
Yeah.
in the second half.
Sure.
And I think Sean wants to talk about this burp because we talk about it real quick, and I want your input as well.
Yeah.
the
So without going over the tasting notes for all of us, we'll give you what we think as far as the rating goes. But we're tasting today the Knob Creek 12-year-old Kentucky Straight Bourbon. It's 100 proof, celebrated for its deep, mature profile, featuring a prominent nose of caramel, vanilla, oak, cherry, balanced by bacon spices and roasted nuts. It's known for having a rich, well-rounded, and complex taste with a long, warm finish. So, we've been, you guys, we're
dorks.
diving this real
We're
quick.
losers.
No, we love it. I mean, Knob Creek is a solid brand. I didn't take pictures. That's all right. I'll
That's
do it
all right.
later.
Let's redo everything.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
We're going to have to start over.
so Knob Creek was solid. 12-year, you know what? I'm not wowed by it. And maybe because it's the 100 proof and it's hard to, it takes, with the 100 proof, the higher the proof is, for me personally, the more I enjoy it because I have to drink less of it. I take a smaller sip, but that sip has a super powerful punch.
Right.
And with this at 100 proof, it just doesn't have it. I mean, I've
I
tasted.
disagree. I think it's rich like a 115.
I think it's really good. It's nice and rich. And
I guess that says more about me.
Yeah, 2 against 1.
Yeah.
are you fasting today? Is that why?
I did fast. I ate a little bit, but I saw Dr. Culpepper today. I had to fast.
The O-ring got blown.
You know, the O-ring did not get blown, but I was fearful that was going to happen, you know, and it's because, I was supposed to have that done, the old
dudes like
prostate
us
check,
stuff,
right?
You're seeing the real dudes like that.
I went into Dr. Culpepper. I love Dr. Culpepper because
I do too.
he's so real, and he's grounded, and he shoots the shit with you, and it's straight up vocabulary that you can understand, and then the mentality is set. So he said no. He looked at. He said, "Look, we've done plenty of them, and if you guys, I won't even get into the story of why I had so many prostate checks in 1 year, but that's a whole different
that's
thing.
really not something to share.
It was almost criminal. Well, you know what? I'll tell you real quick. We'll try to get this out. It was because my wife told me you need to get this done every 3 to 6 months, and I was kind of like, "Are you kidding me? I don't want to do that. That's crazy." So I'm going to Dr. Culpepper, and he's kind of like, "You doing this again? Are you kidding me?"
He's like, "Is there something weird going on?" Or
It turns out he was like, "No, you need it done at least every 1 or 2 years." Like, all right, look, I'm going to give this
like,
Knob
"Stop
Creek.
coming back."
I'm rating this a 6, Chuck. If you want to log that in.
I'm going to go a 7 on this. I really like the Knob Creeks.
I'm going to give it a 6.8.
There you go.
All right, well, it's the first half. You guys can stick around for the second?
Sure, I'm
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
And I would like to know more of your story. We haven't had a chance to really kind of introduce, what your capacity is and what you bring to the equation. So let's open with that in the second half.
Yeah, we'll get that going. It's Tuesday, April 14th, the first half of the Dudes Like Us podcast. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and all that other fancy stuff that we don't really know enough. We're on
Spotify,
everything.
yeah.
We're kind of a big deal. Guys, check us out. Dudes Like Us, I'm Sean.
I'm Paul.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Rod.
He's still Rod.
And we got Ivan
Yes,
over
sir.
here somewhere.
There you go.
God bless. We'll be back.